Today I'm going to show how to install a full Aero splitter kit from Veloce for a 2022 to 2023 Elantra N. I purchased the kit from KDMHolic. I received the kit in less than 10 days from the day I placed my order. I'm a member of several Facebook groups, one of which is N Connect. This is where I first saw the Aero kit and fell in love with it. If you're not part of a Hyundai N Performance Facebook group or looking for a group to join, I invite you to join N Connect. This is a good group to get information about N vehicles and check out cool pictures of other N owners' vehicles. The purpose of this video is to show the entire installation process. I will have a separate impressions video where I will provide a full review of the product after installation. When you receive the kit, it will come in a very large box. This is due to the fact that the front splitter and side skirts are each made as one piece. Inside the box, each piece is individually wrapped and labeled. The kit consists of 12 body pieces, 4 bags of screws, 1 bottle of super glue, and 1 package of adhesive primer. I started the installation with the front splitter. With the help of my wife, we held the splitter up under the car to test fit it. The product is made in such a way that it fit perfectly from side to side and backs up to the plastic curb protection piece. This ensures an exact fit to the factory bumper and takes the guesswork out of how this piece should be mounted to the car. The front splitter has 47 pre-drilled holes. You will need to grab the bag of screws labeled F. This bag contains 17 1.5-inch screws, 20 2-inch flathead screws, and 19 1.25 flathead screws. You will use 10 of the 1.5-inch screws for the middle rear area of the splitter, 19 of the 2-inch flathead screws for the front middle area, and 18 of the 1.25-inch screws for the side of the splitter. There will be some left over since extras are provided in the kit. The 1.5-inch screws are used to hold the rear section of the splitter to the bumper. They are installed in pairs of 2 right in line with each other. The 2-inch flathead screws are installed at the front of the splitter before the 1.5-inch rear screws. The smallest 1.25-inch flathead screws are installed on each side of the splitter, 9 for each side. Now that we understand where the screws go, we're ready to install the splitter. I found it best to raise the front of the car to provide plenty of room underneath. I did this by installing 4 jacks under each side of the car. I began by installing 2 of the 1.25-inch screws on each side of the splitter. After the sides were screwed in, I moved to the front center of the splitter. I installed the 2-inch flathead screws, making sure to push the splitter back as far as it could go. Also, I installed the screws slowly so that I could make sure the screws didn't accidentally pop up through the top of the factory bumper. The channels drilled into the splitter are nicely done but don't provide any wiggle room, so you will want to make sure the splitter is pushed back and the factory bumper is covering the top of the splitter. You want a slight overhang of the factory bumper so the screw is aligned correctly. After the middle screws have been installed, you can install the 10 1.5-inch screws at the back of the splitter. Since the splitter is supported on the front and sides, you should be able to install these screws without having to manipulate or support the splitter in any way. After the 1.5-inch screws are installed, you can move back to the sides of the splitter and install the remaining 7 screws for each side. Once both sides are done, the installation process for the front splitter is complete. After the front splitter was completed, I moved to the side skirts. Again, with the help of my wife, we held each side skirt up under the car to test fit it. The side skirts have large holes and semicircles cut into them. These holes and semicircles match up to the factory bolts and drain plugs, which help with exact placement of the side skirt. Each side skirt has 16 pre-drilled holes. You will need to grab the bag of screws labeled S. This bag will contain 9 1.5-inch screws, 23 1-inch screws, and 3 3.25-inch screws. You will use 1 of the 3/4-inch screw for each side, 4 of the 1.5-inch screws, and 11 of the 1-inch screws for each side. There will be some leftover hardware since extras are provided in the kit. I began by installing 1 of the 1-inch screws at the front of the side skirt and 1 of the 3/4-inch screws at the rear of the side skirt. It's recommended to have a partner help hold the side skirt in place while installing these 2 screws. The side skirt should align almost the exact length of the side of the car. Make sure the factory bolts are visible in the middle of the large holes drilled in each side skirt. Once the front and rear screws have been installed, you can install the remaining screws. You will install 1 of the 3/4-inch screws at the rear of the side skirt. You will install 4 of the 1.5-inch screws in the slightly larger holes in each side skirt. And finally, you'll install 11 of the 1-inch screws in each side skirt for a total of 16 screws for each side. After all the screws have been installed, the installation of the side skirts is complete. The last section to install is the rear diffuser inside Spats. I installed the rear diffuser first. You'll need the bag of screws labeled D, the bottle of superglue, and the adhesive primer. Remove 4 of the smaller flathead screws. These will be used to attach the 4 fins to the rear of the diffuser. Flip the diffuser over, exposing its underside. Then take the superglue and coat the first square section cut into the diffuser. Install the outer fin, lining up the tip of the fin with the back of the diffuser. The outer fin will have a red piece of tape on the side that will go towards the outside of the diffuser. After about 10 to 20 seconds, the glue should dry. With the glue dry, you can turn the diffuser over and screw in the small flathead screw into the fin. Repeat this step for the next 3 fins. The 2 middle fins will not have any tape on them and don't have any order in which they need to be installed. The last fin will have the red tape on it, and it will need to be installed with the red tape facing the outside of the diffuser. Now that the fins are installed, we can mount the diffuser to the car. Begin by cleaning the factory diffuser fins with alcohol. Then open the adhesive primer and apply it to the factory diffuser fins. Remove the backing that's covering the double-sided tape on each fin. Line up each fin with the factory fins. Once all the fins are lined up and stuck to the factory bumper, you'll need to use 6 of the 1-inch screws and screw the diffuser into the bottom of the factory bumper. I used a box to help hold the diffuser as I screwed the diffuser into the bumper. After having the diffuser on the car, I noticed the fins were not holding to the bumper as well as I would like. To correct this, I removed the diffuser and applied new 3M double-sided tape over top the existing tape that came installed on each fin. This helped to hold the fins better and helped to fill any gap where the fins met the bumper. Another step I took was to countersink each of the fins screws a bit. This would give them a more flush look. I could see that the screws sticking up and didn't like that. I simply used a 5/16 inch drill bit and drilled slowly about 2 or 3 rotations. The screws were then flush and held the fins better. Next, I installed the two side spats. For these, you'll need the bag of screws labeled R. There's only one type of screw in this bag. Before you install each spat, you'll need to clean the top black section of the bumper with alcohol and then apply the adhesive primer. Remove the double-sided tape paper. The side piece is pretty easy to line up since it has similar large holes cut into it like the side skirts, which go over the bolts on the underside of the car. Also, the top piece with the double-sided tape goes right to the end of the bumper. I installed the screws on the front and rear of the spat before installing the middle screws. I repeated the same steps for the other spat. This completes the installation of the rear diffuser and side spats. The rear diffuser comes with two optional fins. These fins should be installed on the side of each rear spat at an angle following the line of the section behind the outer face of the spat. You would use the superglue to attach each of these optional fins. I attached them using 3M tape just to show where they would be installed. I chose not to permanently install them on my kit. The final step to complete the underbody kit installation is to install the kit's decals. Clean the area you want to install the decal with alcohol. Then peel the decal from the backing and lay it on the area you want the decal to go. Finally, peel off the transfer tape on the top of the decal. You have now successfully installed your new Veloce underbody kit. Enjoy your car's new look. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.